Everyone loves fantasy booking, right? So coming out of SummerSlam, I thought now would be a good time to book ahead to WrestleMania. So here's my two-night WrestleMania. Each night has 7 matches on it. That's kind of been that was how they did it last year, and so that's how I'm going to do it this year. Night one. This one admittedly is just kind of the catch-all for I didn't have anything better for you, and I feel bad about that. It is Randy Orton against Logan Paul, against Andrade, against Kevin Owens, against LA Knight, against Carmelo Hayes in a let's steal the show and have an absolutely crazy ladder match for the United States Championship. I do think that you would like to have more of these guys in a more marquee spot, but this is the thing with WWE right now. There is but so much room on this card to build everything up. So that is where I went with that. I have the Wyatt Six against the New Day for the World Tag Team titles. I think what happens with the New Day here is they get it kind of figured out and on track. And I think the Wyatt Six, it's an interesting tie-in given the rivalry that the New Day had with the Wyatts back in the day. I think that's a nice little one at WrestleMania. Then I have the Women's World Championship as Rhea Ripley goes up against Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria. I think that like this is just one. If you guys know my fantasy booking at all, you know that Io Sky is maybe my favorite performer in WWE right now, and so I bend over backwards to try to get her into championship opportunities anytime that I have the opportunity. And I think Lyra Valkyria is someone who should be kind of in that role a bit more prominently. Then I have for the women's tag team titles. This is another one. I've been banging the drum for a couple of years. I have Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch against Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I think that I had this coming out of War Games last year, before Charlotte Flair got injured. Becky and Charlotte, they've never like we've had the 4 horsewomen, blah 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 blah. They've never really like gone for it. I could see them tagging up and going for the tag team titles. Like, hey, we don't know how many more runs this group has left, so let's give it a go with these two as the real a real tag team. You could put Bailey in there as well and do some form of a 6-woman there with Naomi. But I think this would be the way it would go. Then I do have Rey Mysterio against Dominic Mysterio for the 3rd year in a row. But this time, now that Dom has a win over Rey Mysterio, we need to up the stakes. And so I think we do hair versus mask, or we do hair versus career. One of the two, but those often happen. You see the lucha masks behind me. Those often happen in lucha libre, and so I think they are really. I think that's the way it's going to go. So the rubber match between those two gets off there. Braun Breaker against John Cena. John Cena's last WrestleMania. This is a chance to really launch Braun Breaker into another stratosphere, and I'm not just talking about just a match, because they've tried that a few times and it hasn't really worked. I think that John Cena versus Braun Breaker in an actual build would be really, really fun and really intriguing to do. And then in the main event of night one, I have Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Jacob Fatu. I think we all see Jacob Fatu as a potential main eventer. And I think he gets his opportunity probably post a Bloodline Civil War. But I could see him being the Royal Rumble winner and getting his shot at Cody Rhodes. Night two, I have Liv Morgan against Asuka. Liv deserves to be on here, and Asuka forever deserves to be on a card. And so I think those two could have a pretty fun match. WWE Tag Team titles, I have the Usos back together, taking on the Guerrillas of Destiny, taking on the Street Profits. Intercontinental title, I have big meaty men smacking meat. It is Braun Strowman against Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental Championship. The WWE Women's title, Tiffany Stratton against Trish Stratus. They tease this at Money in the Bank in Toronto. I would imagine we get some other kind of a tease at the Royal Rumble, and then you give Tiffany Stratton a gigantic match coming up at WrestleMania. I've said these guys are dancing around each other. Let's just finish it all off. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, WrestleMania 41. Let's just finish this rivalry, have these guys around each other all year, and let's do the thing at Mania. For the world title, Gunther going up against Sami Zayn. I think this would be such a fun way to elevate Sami Zayn, But B, play into what we saw at WrestleMania last year. Like, look, you've had this title reign for a long time. I'm pretty good at ending title reigns at WrestleMania. And for Gunther, this is the one thing that has continued to haunt him. He hasn't really addressed it at all. He's just kind of blown past it. Sami Zayn can kind of poke and prod. We get an Elimination Chamber win, and now all of a sudden Sami Zayn is the #1 contender. I think that story would be incredible for WrestleMania. And in the main event of night 2, Roman Reigns against The Rock. There's no way it's not going to be that. Given the final boss involvement, I would imagine that when we get, like I said, some kind of a bloodline civil war where the Rock is actually the one who has been in charge of the Solo Sikoa group this whole time. Roman Reigns has his kind of OG group, and it all culminates at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, Nevada.